Welcome, everyone, as I regale you with the story and history of the Crimson Skies campaign. Hundreds of years ago, a bright light illuminated the night sky of the continent of Faerun. The image of a gargantuan mass of earth and fire traced across the sky as if the sun was being dragged by an invisible force. The people of the world were astonished by the incredible sight, as the asteroid flew across the horizon. Many took it as a benevolent sign of the gods. Many others took the flaming ball of earth to be an omen for darker times ahead. The hurling ball of fire crashed into the sea of fallen stars, causing earthquakes and tsunamis to rock the coastal cities and islands nearby. The event would forever be recorded in history as the calamity known as the Starfall. The arrival of the asteroid brought upon countless number of dead across the many races living on the coastlines. Some believed that this would not be the end of their suffering, for the Starfall is a sign of doom. But others in the world sought the opportunity to discover something new, something unknown. Countless ships from various countries sailed towards the landing site of this fallen star. When the boats arrived at the asteroid, they were astonished to see that where it had landed, an island had formed. Jagged mountain cliffs and sharp rocks jutted out from the ocean that traced the edges along the island. Magic cast at the cliff sides to break apart the stone did not damage their integrity. This made it difficult to land ships close to the island, until an inlet was found, an area of softened earth and sand that was not protected by the jagged cliffside. The earth here could be molded by magic. With ships of many races and countries landing on the shoreline, there was a great turmoil as to whom would lay claim to this new land. Through time, negotiations, and an unseen pact between various races, this new island, now christened Stellaris, was to become a country that would be governed through the cooperation of various races. This new country was able to harvest the bounties that resided on the island, for as the asteroid was explored, various magical phenomena were witnessed on the island. Within the country, there were areas of luscious fields fit for growing and raising any crop or cattle. Dense forest filled with strong trees that would support the building of infrastructure. Desert lands that were hot and humid, but held many precious gemstones and rare plant life. Mountainous areas with freezing temperatures, with large mountains that were able to be mined for ores and stone. Swamplands that held abundance of animal life. No one understood how there was life on Stellaris after it had fallen from the sky, but the magical influence felt coming from the asteroid led scholars to believe that it was due to an unknown magical source from the heavens. Years have passed, and as the story goes with civilization, cities were built, governments were established, and wars eventually occurred. But none greater than the uprising of the Overlord Baranos, born 400 years ago, whom was blessed by the magical power of Stellaris itself, which manifested in his uniquely crimson eyes. Growing in power for 200 years, building his city, raising his army, and forging his weapons, Baranos established the second largest city in the country, Glasmont, and brought his wrath upon the capital city of Vrento, for he believed his rule would lead Stellaris to prosperity and power. With his fury and might, Baranos made it to the heart of the city, where he was confronted by the leader of a temple, Grand Master Tygal. The two battled for hours on the temple grounds, the day slowly forming into night, the sun and the moon both visible in the sky. Grand Master Tygal was losing the fight, but in his final efforts, he was able to bind his soul and Baranos' soul together in a gemstone he had in the ring on his finger. The power of these two souls merging sent an arcane shockwave through the skies, staining the sun and moon a deep crimson color. This was 200 years ago, and this event led to the founding of the two factions that dominated over Stellaris. The Crimson Sun, who helped lead the capital, they continue to protect Stellaris from any threat, foreign and domestic. And the Crimson Moon, this faction was established by those who opposed the Crimson Sun's rule, and whom swear allegiance to the Overlord. Over time, the strength of the Crimson Sun waned, as there had been no movement from the Crimson Sun forces for almost 200 years. The governing bodies of the capital city of Vrento once again took control of the city, and allowed for the Crimson Sun to have a small role in the leadership of the city. This history is known to all who live on Stellaris. And that, my dear friends, is the history and founding of the island known as Stellaris.